Hello. I just wanted to talk a little bit about what is the field of somatics and how it can help you, why you might be interested, and sort of letting the idea of what somatics is be part of your life, even if you don't want to engage in something called somatics. So, what is somatics anyway? It's a field of study that engages and utilizes your felt sense of your physical body, your whole physical body. The main type of somatics I use in my practice is Feldenkrais. It rhymes with rice, and it's a type of practice that utilizes the felt sense of the structure of your skeleton as a basis for your movement and your efficiency in what you do every day and your comfort. There are many, many other types of somatics, but when you think of the word somatics, you can think of the word soma, which means your physical body, and something like automatic, like how you breathe automatically, you digest food automatically, you actually walk and move around automatically, even though it may not seem like it's so automatic because it requires some activation energy, if you will. But once you get going, you can, listen to music, pay attention to something in the distance while you're walking. And for the most part, things go pretty well. But when you participate in any type of somatic movement or somatic activity, you're utilizing a fuller sense of your physical self. So instead of just my eyes seeing something outside of myself, I'm using my awareness of balance, pressure, how I engage with gravity and the surface I'm sitting, standing, walking, jumping on. I'm paying attention to my breathing, and in the practice of many types of somatics, there's a component of rest. There's also a component of non-judgmental awareness. For instance, this happens to a lot of people. You have an injury and you are still sort of struggling with that injury, and you'll say something like, oh, that's my bad elbow or something, or my bad knee or my bad ankle. And this idea of non-judgmentalism doesn't really do that. We don't call something good or bad because that's an automatic judgment. We can say it's different, it moves differently, and a difference is just a fact of existence rather than something being better than something else. And just different types of descriptors, even this idea of something being smooth versus bumpy. It doesn't necessarily have to be a judgment, but it's, a quality of action. So the way or the reason something like somatics or any type of somatic practice can be useful to you is because you're utilizing your awareness of your specific soma, not somebody else's, not what you think your soma should be or you want your soma to be, but the way it is right now in this moment. And you're using your attention or your awareness of this physical aspect of yourself to allow that sense to engage with your entire nervous system to take you to a better place, a more comfortable place, an easier place, a more efficient place. And so, just as an example, I'm going to use this idea of sitting. So right now, as I sit, you can see me from the front, and I can change my sitting so that my head goes down. Now, I can change my sitting in a number of ways so my head goes down. I can do like this, I can do like this, I can do like this. And in all of those instances, my head is actually lower than it was before. And they're all ways of lowering the head. But if I engage with myself currently, how I am physically in a felt sense, and I don't judge what I'm doing, I just notice it, and then I pause, feel my breathing, feel my connection, rest my attention, and come back, I'm actually in a different place than I was before. So let's just for a moment take sitting. So I'm sitting on the surface and I'm getting a little uncomfortable. Say I've been riding in a car or I'm in a meeting, and I for a moment become aware of how I'm breathing. I notice its quality, its fullness, without changing it. I don't need to change my breathing to notice if it's free or constricted. I can notice where in my body I sense it, if it's my belly, my chest, my nostrils, my throat, my back, my ribs. And if I soften and spread the softness throughout myself, I can sense my breathing down even in my pelvic floor. I can sense the ability for that pressure change to include the whole length of the inside of this part of my structure. And then I noticed that I wasn't very comfortable sitting. Sometimes just that kind of awareness all by itself can make the sitting more comfortable. Sometimes you need to do something else. So sometimes I'll tap my heels or I'll shift a little, and I can do these quick little things, but when I do them in a somatic kind of way, I do them a little slower, a little gentler, and I rest and notice what's changed. And sometimes without striving for something, which is actually a mental concept, to strive for something, and instead just an awareness, I find that my whole back feels better when I notice that this part of me can participate in my breathing. It's an interesting idea, but of course when this softens, and it's not that I'm massaging or anything like that, it's just that I'm noticing my back. And when we begin, if somatics is new to you or anyone, it's not so easy to notice places that you've put out of your attention for a very long time. And so that's why in something like Feldenkrais, we think of these big bony structures. And so, we'll take our sitting bones and we'll be like, oh, I can lower my head by changing how I engage with the chair or the surface by moving my pelvis. And then as I do this, a few times, maybe And it doesn't happen this way with everyone, but for me right now, my head is looking down. Now, I can do it like this, where my head doesn't move much at all, which is fine too. It's not that one's better than the other, they're just different. But if I, right now in this moment for myself, let my head move too, and I notice my eyes see different things as my head goes down, and I notice that my shoulders are maybe coming forward a little bit. And then I can even go so far to say, oh, what if this has something to do with my breathing? Then I can even include my breathing in, say, the comfort of the movement. So it's more comfortable to exhale when I do this, and more comfortable to inhale when I do this. And then all of a sudden the movement can then have a little bit of a rhythm that matches something that happens automatic in my body if I let my breathing be the leader. Now I can always let my movement be the leader and then my breathing has to sync up. But usually if something like that happens, it doesn't feel very comfortable. So I'm just going to rest for a moment and sense my spine and my head. Sense my contact with the surface. And now, just out of curiosity, because that's something else we use in Feldenkrais, I'm going to see what it's like if I breathe the other way. So I'm going to breathe in when I go down and breathe that out when I come up. Now for me, right now, in this moment, I can honestly say I've noticed something that I don't normally notice when I do this. And what that is this place right here. For me, right now, in this moment, this place, when I breathe in while letting my head down, it expands a little bit. I never noticed that before. Now, maybe I never noticed it because I never paid attention to it. But it doesn't matter because now I have an awareness that this part of myself, which on the skeleton is like this part right here at the base of the breastbone, engages in a different way when I change my breathing and my position. And so just sitting now, I feel a little bit taller. My shoulders feel softer. I feel maybe, I don't know, I feel from the inside like my voice may have changed a little bit. And so these are the things that can affect you when you do some type of somatic activity. And you don't have to do a Feldenkrais class, you don't have to do a continuum movement class, you don't have to do any number of these things labeled somatics to be doing and benefiting from somatic involvement or somatic activity. It just means you're expanding your awareness of your physical existence in this moment to feel a little bit better. And I'd be happy to answer any questions or comments if I'm able. You can respond to the video and let me know. And I may or may not be able to get to you quickly, but I'm curious, and I hope you're curious mainly about yourself and how you can benefit from more awareness of your soma and those things we call somatics. Have a great day. Bye-bye.